Testament reading from our from Sunday. Comfort, O comfort my people, says your God. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem, and cry to her that she has served her term, that her penalty is paid, and that she has received from the Lord's hand double for all her sins. A voice cries out, in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord. Make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be lifted up, and every mountain and hill be made low. The uneven ground shall become level, and the rough places a plain. Then the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all people shall see it together. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken. A voice says, cry out. And I said, what shall I cry? All people are grass. Your constancy is like the flower of the field. The grass withers, the flower fades, when the breath of the Lord blows upon it. Surely the people are grass. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of our God will stand forever. Get you up to a high mountain, O Zion, herald of good tidings. Lift up your voice with strength, O Jerusalem, herald of good tidings. Lift it up, do not fear. Say to the cities of Judah, behold, here is your God. See, behold, the Lord comes with might, and his arm rules for him. His reward is with him, and his recompense before him. He will feed his flock like a shepherd. He will gather the lambs in his arms and carry them in his bosom, and gently lead the mother sheep. It's quite a word of truth-telling and comfort and promise. Chapter 40 of Isaiah is referred often to as second Isaiah. It's after now the exile, it's now the good news section of the word. And it begins not on earth, but in heaven. And it's an exchange between the heavenly court and the prophet. Comfort, comfort my people. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem, not harshly. Speak a word of comfort. A voice cries out, prepare the way of the Lord. Make his path straight. Back in those days, if a king was coming, if somebody of importance would come, you'd actually send out people to get the big boulders out of the way so that the ride wouldn't be rough. Every time I hear this from this, make the way straight, straighten out the crooked highways and fill in the low spots, take off the high spots, you know. And I know I've told this before, but it just comes to mind every time. The President of the United States came to Minot, North Dakota one day. Eisenhower. He flew into the Minot Air Force Base, and he drove to the capital. Bismarck is the capital. And in North Dakota, you don't say it with a B. If you're a good German, you say it with a P. So it's Bismarck. And they say, when the bishop comes to town, you have to pee on your toes. So you have to translate that into English. When the bishop comes, you have to be on your toes. But when the president came, everybody wanted to pee on their toes. And the story was, Minot planted flowers on the sides of the road. They planted grass. You know, they knew he was coming for, you know, it was in the summertime. They washed off the streets. They made sure all the bad windows were replaced. I mean, this is the President of the United States is going to go right through the center of town. And everyone was excited about it. He got in the car. He landed at the Air Force Base in Minot. It's about 15 miles north. And he drove right through town, did not stop at all. He just zoomed right through town, like 50 miles an hour. Everybody's like, where'd he go? there he is. So, I mean, you know, they tried to get it beautified for him, and they did it. But he just sped on through. No, he said he didn't even stop to look at all the stuff we did, but they were proud of what they did. So you have this vision of this preparing the valleys. Now we can look at it in terms of topography, actual land moving, but often in the Bible, images are used to say something about ourselves. What does it to mean to prepare for the Lord? In the hymn, Joy to the World, the Lord has come. Let earth receive her King, right? Let every, what? Heart prepare him room. Well, maybe that has something to say about what Isaiah is talking about. The problem is it's easier to keep it at arm's length and say, well, yeah, he's talking about, you know, getting the roads nice, so he's getting a little closer, and we get a glimpse of it. He's talking about us. Prepare the way to the Lord. In you. Where are the valleys? What would we call the valleys? Well, sometimes it's a valley of disappointment. You know, I'm stuck in the valley. Down in the valley so low, right? Disappointment with all kinds of things. We could start a list now, and I don't think we'd be done until after lunch. What are all the disappointments that we can have? It can be a valley of despair, where I don't see the end in sight. I mean, it's a dark road. I can't see the way out. It can often be, and often is, a valley of grief, of loss. I'm stuck in there. How am I going to get out? It's like a rut. Who can get us out of that? Oftentimes the word, the mountains made low. What are those things in our life that, you've heard the phrase making a mountain out of a what? A molehill. We exaggerate the things that we can't control and the problems, and next thing you know, it's this huge thing. It's like, well, maybe we need to cut those down to size, you know. How do we do it? Sometimes it's not about us at all, because when we're stuck in the valley, I know for myself, when I'm down, I can't pull myself up out of the bootstrap thing. I tried it. Even if I jump, it doesn't work. It takes someone else to get me out. And Isaiah gives us a way out. Then the glory of the Lord shall be revealed. All people will see it together. Because the word of the Lord, the mouth of the Lord, it came from God, didn't come from us. The rescue, the earth moving, it's God working in us, in our lives. But he says something else that we need to hear, and we often don't. I have a tendency to make plans that go into months ahead, sometimes years, you know. I'd like to be at this point here, hope to get the windows fixed by next spring, you know, in the house, or, you know, we think long-term projects sometimes, whether it's our home or our children or ourselves, and well, I'd like to, well, the reunion, I want to get rid of this extra 20 pounds, you know, and of course that never happens, but, you know, we make plans out there. But Isaiah says, well, let me tell you something about people. All people are grass. Their constancy is like the flower of the field. What shall I cry? A voice says, cry out. Well, cry out this. Tell them the truth. we're not permanent. We sometimes think we are. We think we're like the Mount Rushmore Monument, right? We're going to be around forever. Ain't so. And part of this is a sobering effect of Isaiah. Nobody likes to hear that none of us are going to live forever. And we want to think that we're going to remain for a long time, and that at least people will remember us, sing songs about us perhaps, or something like that, in some Viking saga, right? But Isaiah says, well, I hate to tell you this, but it's the truth. All people are grass. Their constancy is like the flower of the field. Gulp. You mean me too? Yep, you too. And the grass does wither, and the flower does fade. The bloom eventually comes off the rose. Anybody who's gardened, see, that beautiful garden we have, it is beautiful, but there's some, the plants bloom, there's some that start early and some go late, but they don't all go all the time. Isaiah knew that. So with the cold, hard facts, the truth of the matter, he speaks. He doesn't leave it at that. He continues with this. Surely the people are grass. Okay, we got that. We know that. It's the truth. The grass withers, the flower fades. That's the truth. But then he ends with the but. And I like, that's one of my favorite expressions now. When you see a but in the Bible, pay attention. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of our God, the word of our God will stand forever. The truth is, yes, we will come and go, and we are like the flowers of the field, and we have our moment in the sun, and some are longer than others, but we're gone. However, the promises of God, the Word of God, from the mouth of the Lord has spoken it, that has power because it's from the Lord. It will stand forever. His reward is with Him. That's what Isaiah is reminding us. Our salvation comes from God, and it is coming through God in Jesus, whose birth we will soon celebrate. We are called to prepare our hearts, lower the valleys, or raise the valleys, knock off the mountains. Prepare Him in our hearts. Because His reward is with Him. Okay? He will gather the lambs. He will carry us in His bosom, and He will lead us as He has promised. It does change things when it's not about us anymore. Indeed, it is about God. But it is the Lord whom Isaiah is called to proclaim, to tell us, here is your God. He's going to do it. Because He said so. And we can trust it. Because of Jesus. Proof that God meant it. Please stand.